flavors of the sweet onion and the potato. And then on the recipe, I suggested aceite de oliva. Is that camera working? They can see it. So aceite de oliva, virgen. So that olive oil is very powerful. So you can, in case you don't want to use olive oil, you can also use sunflower oil. It's, in my case, is what I'm going to use. But both cases or both oils are perfect to cook tortilla española. Okay, so let's start. We are going to start with our potatoes. So as I said, a medium-sized potato. In case kids are cooking, obviously, they might need assistance along the process, especially when we are going to fry the potatoes and the onion, and when we are going to flip the tortilla española. So now we are going to start chopping our potatoes. So here we are. This is one of my potatoes. You peel it, as someone mentioned. I'm going to allow you some time. Just peel it with a peeler, nice and easy. And once you have it peeled, we cut it in half. Be careful if you are working with sharp knives. Yeah, keep your fingers always behind the knife. And then we are going to chop it.
Do we need to peel it?
Yes, we do need to peel it. We need to peel the potatoes. Yes, I'm gonna allow you some time. And here it is. The secret of the Spanish omelette, a good Spanish omelette, is that we are gonna fry the potatoes and the onions before mixing it with the eggs. That's the secret. Many people that has been in Spain, that, by the way, this is a question I have for you. Have you ever been in Spain before?
No.
So if yes, no, okay. Are you planning to come to Spain?
I'd like to.
That's a good answer. So we are in Mallorca. I believe you know that. So drop us a message. We can always take you around. And if you go to Spain, you will find tortilla española all over the counters, in a bar, in a fancy restaurant. They will serve it disconstructed, or, you know, like a gourmet kind of style. But then you will have it also in a bar, and you can have it as a pincho or as a main dish together with a salad. It's a very easy recipe to cook. And going back to our potatoes, you will peel them, you will cut them in half. Yeah, cut them in half. And then you will chop them as thick as a point. For me is the reference, since in United States you don't have those many coins, or they are not as thick as euro coins. I'm gonna just get closer to the camera and show you how thick they need to be. And it's important that you cut them evenly, like that you try to cut them as equal as possible, because when we will fry them, we want the potatoes to be fried equally. We don't want a hard potato in the middle of your Spanish omelette, or very soft or burned potato. So which camera are they visible? I'm not on the spotlight. And they visible? Okay. So you see, can you see how thick I cut my potato?
See.
All right. Did I hear a C?
That's about my, that's it on my Spanish.
Good one. Okay. If you can't say it, you will say no. Okay, so this is how thick I cut my potatoes. And then once you have all your potatoes chopped, we will keep it in a bowl with water. And that will prevent your potatoes to get dark, to get oxidized. This is also a very traditional trick we keep here in Spain. It also helps to take the starch out of the potatoes. So when you will fry it, it will be easier and faster, and your potatoes will be sweeter. So this is it. So get a bowl with water and chop your potatoes and drop them into that water. Later on, we will obviously drain it and we will fry them. And now, since chopping and peeling potatoes can be a long task, I think that we are going to play a nice video just to take you here to Mallorca and see a little bit of what we are living on. Go ahead, Danny.
So just to tell everyone that we will be going back to Mallorca, out on the street. Maybe you've seen some of these videos before, maybe you haven't, but we're gonna do a little bit of a tour, walking through the Jewish quarter while everyone is still working on cutting up their food and getting their tortilla española ready. Here we go. Now we're going to go on what I like to call a little scavenger hunt, because this walk and talk experience is called the Secret Jews of Mallorca, okay? Secret because not a lot of people know about this history we just learned. Also because sometimes, where's the best place to keep a secret? Right under your nose, right? Because you don't see it, right? So that's what we're going to discover today. Sometimes there's so many things to learn about that if you didn't know where to look or that it was there, you wouldn't see it. And that's a lot of this history that we talked about, the secret Jews. I mean, that's a long time, 250 years under the Inquisition, still practicing Judaism right underneath where the Inquisition was. Pretty interesting stuff. So come follow me. We're going to be trying to learn and discover the secrets of Jewish Mallorca. I stop here because I want to point out the beautiful church of Santa Eulalia, okay? This is where the mass conversion happened. In 1435, the entire Jewish population walked into that church as Jews, and they were baptized and came out as Catholics. That church was there before the cathedral. The cathedral was built from 1300 to 1600, more or less, and so this church was already there. Also very interesting, this church was called the Church of the Conversos for many years. Why? Because right on the left is Plateria, is Argenteria, is Silvermaker Street. And so all the Chuetas lived there. This was their church. This is where they would come. And I've heard from different Chuetas that I'm friends with today that people from all over the island would come just to watch the Chuetas pray, because they would pray so demonstratively, so passionately and emphatically to show the rest how good practicing Catholics they were. There's a saying, I'm told, in the Chueta culture or families, it's not worth going to church unless there's people inside it. Meaning the whole point to go to church is so other people can see you going to church, which is an interesting thing to think about. So Santa Eulalia used to be nicknamed Church of the Conversos. Just a quick note, because I didn't get to talk about it earlier. After this attack in 1391, which happened on August 2nd, okay, we just passed it, the Jews were forced to wear the rodea, okay, yellow and red circle, to identify who was Jewish and who was not, which, of course, when you think about what happened in Nazi Germany during the Holocaust with this Jewish star, that there is definitely a connection there. So I really want to make that statement very boldly, that I think it's important that we learn about history so we can hopefully prevent from it to repeat and not to happen again. And that's an example. I wonder if the German Jews at that time were forced to wear stars, if they had known that hundreds of years their ancestors were forced to wear red and yellow circles, I don't know, maybe more would have been saved because they knew what was coming. I don't know. I think this is a good example of how important it is to talk about history.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
Good. Do we
Okay.
have, sorry, say again? Okay. I understand that everyone is ready with the potatoes. Thumbs up. Yes, no? See, no?
Thumbs up.
Yeah, good. So did you peel as many potatoes as people is going to be served? Family of three potatoes, three medium-sized potatoes. Family of four potatoes. Think about it. If you're a family of six potatoes. So instead of that size, you will need that size of a pan. Yes? And very important, and I didn't mention, but I assume you will understand the reason why we need a stickless pan, sorry, because we are gonna flip our omelette, right? So we don't want our eggs to be stick on it. That's the tricky part of our recipe. It's the only challenging moment, and it's in fact the most important moment when we flip our Spanish omelette. However, we are not there yet. So potatoes done. Let's move towards to our onion. So now we have that onion ready, medium size. Remember, if we like onion flavor in our dish, then we will have a full onion chopped and fried. If we don't like that much, then half of it. And if we don't like it at all, then we don't add any onion. Yeah, this is a big discussion here in Spain. It's like Hawaiian pizza with or without pineapple. So Spanish omelette with or without onion. In my case, with onion forever and ever. So I cut and I peel my onion, and then I cut it in four. First half, and then that half in another half. So now I have a quarter of an onion that it will be easier for me to chop. Yes? I hope you see it. And then now again, we take our Sharpie knife and then we cut it along the onion, not like making rainbows, but making lines, almost following the nerves of our onion. Yes? Can you see me?
No,
No, they cannot see me.
could you bring it closer?
You know
Yes.
what? Look at the other spotlight. There's
I
a,
can see you.
No, I see both. I'm not sure whether they mean with the grain or against the grain.
oh, okay.
Oh, so this will be our onion. So instead of cutting it that way, we
Ah,
will do it that way.
gracias. Thank you.
Yes, de nada.
That's Ken.
No problem. Ken.
His name is Ken.
Oh, hi, Ken. Sorry, I don't see the screen. So Danny has to kind of walk me through what is going on over there. So, okay, Ken. You chop your onion, and this is the way it should look. Can everyone see it?
Not everyone is looking at the camera the whole time.
All right. Okay. I know you cannot look at the camera the whole time because you are cooking and chopping. So please keep your concentration. And then once again, here comes the trick. Once you have your onion chopped, just put it in a bowl with water. That will help you to keep that onion sweet and moisturized. It won't release that itchiness of the onion. Well, not itchiness, but like, I don't know, that kind of thing that makes you cry. So you keep it in water, and before frying it, you will drain it again and you will add it into your hot oil. So how are we doing with the onion? Ken?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
You have Pat is also cooking. You have TJ who's cooking.
Hi, Pat. Hi, TJ.
Johnny.
Johnny. How are we doing?
Señor Goderes.
Señor Goderes,
Que habla español.
que habla español de Argentina.
Si no me equivoco.
How are we doing?
Miles,
Miles.
Mo, and Laila.
I love the crew. Many people all over the place. That's great.
And then we have some watchers. People who are just watching, like Marsha,
Hi, Marsha.
Althea,
Afea. Beautiful name.
Charlotte,
Charlotte.
Pat, Penny.
All right. Okay. So if you can just show them, please, my onion in water. Yeah. The potatoes, onion, potatoes. Here we are. What about another quick and short video?
Sure.
Yeah, here we are. Let's go.
Do you want to say next steps?
Yeah, next step is gonna be to fry our onions and potatoes. We will start with our onions and then we will add the potatoes. So, and it's good that you said that, Danny, because we are going to start heating up our oil. The reason I'm going to use the two pans is just for me to make my life easier. Like that pan where I'm gonna cook the Spanish omelette will be nice and clean and ready. However, you only need one pan because we are gonna fry it and then we are gonna take away the extra oil and then we are gonna add everything back into the same pan in case you just have only one pan. But please keep in mind, has to be stickless, yes? Because we are gonna flip our onion. Non-stick. Non-stickless, but non-stick. So we're gonna flip our onion and we don't want the egg and the potatoes to be stick on it because it will ruin the look of the Spanish omelette. Okay, so while you are dealing with your onion and I am putting already oil to fry our onions and potatoes, about the amount of oil, if you have like and sorry about that, for me it's like a liter bottle, you will need half of a liter. So maybe 2 glasses of olive oil or sunflower oil, okay? And please.
Wait, question. What do you mean by glasses? What's a glass?
Like a measure, like a cup. Sorry, you
So
said
you
cup
want
in
2
United
cups of
States.
oil?
Exactly, 2 cups of oil.
That's
Two
a
cups
lot.
That's a lot of
That's a
oil.
lot
That's
of
a
oil.
lot of oil, but we are gonna take that away. Don't worry, it's a lot of oil. We need to fry our
So you're sort of deep frying the things.
exactly. Yes,
Wow.
but once you take it away, it dries off. It's not oily at all, but you will have to take away the oil out of the potatoes and we will do it with coriander. It's easy. Coriander. Say it again. Coriander.
Suppose I don't have a colander.
I'll loan you mine.
You don't?
Send it right over.
I'll be right there.
Okay, you work it out. Fantastic. So let's play that video while everyone is getting the onions chopped and the oil hot.
And in my opinion, this stop where we are right now is probably the most important stop that you could be doing when you talk about the Jewish quarter of Palma. Why? Many of you know this already, but other people that don't speak Catalan don't. This street, Carrer del Cai, what does it mean? Right. It literally means street of the Jewish quarter. But if you don't speak Catalan, you wouldn't know that the word Cai, or Cal, C-A-L-L, means Jewish quarter. It's as if in Spanish that said Calle de la Judería, or Calle de los Judíos, right? Street of the Jews, street of the Jewish quarter. What I find fascinating is that there's no sign here. There's nothing that says street of the Jewish quarter in the different languages to let people know that that's what that means. Only if you speak Catalan will you know that that means street of the Jewish quarter. That's the not so great part, that there's no translation. I will say the cool part is that they kept that street name. They could have changed it, but the fact that they're preserving that, I think, is important. They are keeping this street of the Jewish quarter, and I do think that's important and worthy of mentioning. There are 4 Carrer del Cais in Mallorca today. Palma has one, which we are right here. Inca has Carrer del Cai, Porredes, and Felanich. Those 4 towns you can go and visit, and you will see this sign that says Street of the Jewish Quarter. And if you go to Barcelona, you'll go to the Cai. If you go to Girona, you'll go to the Cai. If you go to Valencia, you'll go to the Cai. Wherever they speak Catalan, the Jewish quarter, the word is Cai. Why? So there are people that believe that the word Kal comes from Hebrew. Okay? Kal sounds like the word Kahal. Kahal means a group of people in Hebrew. Okay? And it's connected to the word Kehillah. Kehillah means community in Hebrew. And the only thing that separates the word kahal and kehillah are 2 letters, a yud and a hey. And that spells Hashem's name. That spells the name of God. So there's an idea there that to change a group of people that's passive, that's not, interacting, that's just watching something happen, to a community where everyone plays a part, everyone's involved, you need a little bit of something from above, a little bit of divine inspiration to make that change happen. Just a little note here is Las Olas Bistro, which is a restaurant, and inside this restaurant, they have a replica of the map of Jafuta Crescus that we saw in the museum. So if you go in there to have lunch, you'll see like a copy of the original map because they are big fans of the fact where they live. Look, they put on their house Casa del Cai. They were trying to turn this into a bit of a bed and breakfast, and they're calling it, House of the Jewish Quarter, because it's a very important location where they are. Come right this way, guys. We're going to be walking into the Jewish community of the past.
Hello, how are you doing? Onions ready?
Ready?
Onions ready? Yeah? All right. So now you know a little more about Cal and where that word comes from. And if you walk over many towns in Spain, towns and cities, you will see Carrer del Cal, and then you will know that you are literally stepping on what it used to be the Jewish neighborhood. So, and in Mallorca, we have actually, in Palma, we have 2 Cals, the new one and the big and the small. However, once again, I invite you to come and visit us, and we will definitely show you. So,
What temperature do we heat the oil at?
Okay, what temperature do we heat the oil at? We have to have our oil very hot. And here is when the youngest and the adults and the oldest need to work together. Yes? So, Danny, bring the camera closer to my oil. Like this, they can see how hot needs to be. So hot, yeah? So let's say your stove has like from 1 to 10, 10 being the hottest, 1 being the softest. I have it in 8. Okay, could be 9, and definitely we will bring it down once we have our onions in it. So onion, come closer. I put it, you see, it's bubbling. Can you see it? Someone say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So It's hot, yeah? So I took away the onion out of the water and I drain it as much as I can in order to avoid water to go into the oil. And now very carefully, Danny, please, we are gonna put our onion into the boiling oil. Be careful here, please. Young ones, let the adults manage the situation. And adults, please be careful. So now you can see our onions are getting fried. And now I do not add salt till last minute when I mix my onions together with my potatoes and the eggs. However, if someone likes it very salty, it's a good time to put a little bit of salt in it. I will say half of a teaspoon or maybe a teaspoon. And then we let the onions cook. While the onions are cooking, I am going to do exactly the same with my potatoes. I'm gonna take them out of the water. I'm gonna drain them. Okay. So no water in our potatoes in order to avoid splashing oil. All right. And we keep our potatoes ready while our onion is cooking. And you soon will see that our onions are turning gold color. So then is when we will know that our onions are getting nicely fried. And by the way, don't be concerned about the amount of oil. Trust me, if we do it right, and we are gonna do it right, it's not oily at all because we are gonna drain that oil out of our ingredients and we will mix it with our eggs. And then where we are gonna cook our Spanish omelette, it's no need of oil, just few drops just to avoid the eggs to get sticky to the pan. But you will see. And by the way, if you use sunflower oil, you will be able to reuse it again. So once you drain it out of, when you take it away, you can keep it in a glass or in a jar, and maybe you can reuse it later on to fry any other things. If you do it with olive oil, then I'm afraid you cannot reuse that oil because it gets very strong and it will, let's say, contaminate whatever you are going to fry next on that oil. So, but if it's sunflower oil, then you can use it. It's more neutral, and we do it here in Spain that way. So our onions are getting nice and goldish. So it's time for me to add the potatoes. So nice and gentle. You keep your fire on. You need to see the potatoes and the onion bubbling together. And as you can see, even though we add 2 cups of oil, the onions are not fully covered on oil because we have, first of all, a lot of onions. And then because we want to kind of fry it and steam it at the same time. So we are just accommodating the onions and the potatoes all together. And that's the trick of a successful Spanish omelette to cook our onions and potatoes prior to adding the eggs on. And as maybe you know, the frittata is an Italian omelette that it's baked, it's not fried, and it's also delicious. So if you feel like avoiding so much oil, then you can fry your potatoes and onions, and then mix it with your eggs, and then put it in a baking tray, and then you put it in the oven. And the last step, it will be the difference in between the Spanish omelette and the frittata. You will bake it instead of frying it. Okay, so I'm gonna keep the onions and the omelette frying together. I am going to cover the onions and the potatoes like this. We have that frying effect plus a steaming effect. So you keep an eye on it. And then now we're gonna play another video. So we will need at least in between 5-10 minutes of cooking our potatoes and onions together. Depends on how powerful is your stove or how big is your pan, or obviously the quantity of onions and potatoes you are frying. If you have less potatoes, less onions, it will be faster. If you are a big family, then it will be slower, so you will need more time for it. Okay, so while you are watching the video, let's keep an eye on our potatoes and onions. Stir it every now and then, every minute or so, and let's enjoy our next video.
So guys, I want everyone to stop right where you are and take a look around and tell me if you see anything that is Jewish or with Hebrew or, yes, all right, 10 points for Marianne, nice. Street of Mount Zion. This street is still called Street of Mount Zion, as when it was in the Jewish quarter, it was also called the same thing. Something else, guys, look around, what else do you see? Something with Hebrew or... Yeah? All right, Matilda, for 15 points. Found what I find is incredible that people do not know about that exists here in Palma or have seen. First off, what is this in the shape of? Spain and Portugal, right? So here's Portugal, here's Barcelona, and here we are. We got to add ourselves here one day on Balearic Islands. And this says in Hebrew, Samech Fe Resh Dalid. It spells Sepharad. Sepharad in Hebrew means Spain. You've heard of Ashkenazi Jews, that's like where I'm from, Germany, Poland, and whatnot. Sephardic Jews are Jews originally from Spain that when they were kicked out in 1492, they went to places like Greece, Turkey, North Africa, all the Mediterranean. And another Israeli on one of my tours said you can also see inside the letters Yud, Zayin, Kaf, Vav, Resh, Yizkor, or Zocher, which in Hebrew means to remember. So Yizkor Sfarad, to remember Spain. And they've put this in 20 different cities all around Spain. In order to be in this network of Jewish quarters, each city hall pays 20,000 euros a year to be in this quarter. Now that makes sense if you're a tiny Jewish quarter in a town that no one's ever heard about in the middle of Spain. That's great, right? You get tourism, right? Oh, I'm coming to see this tiny Jewish quarter because otherwise they wouldn't be going to that town. Well, Palma doesn't really work that way because we have too much tourism, right? We have too many people coming to visit. We're like, no thanks. But I do believe there's an interest in changing that tourism as apart from the bachelor parties and Magaluf, Arenal craziness to more cultural tourism, which is what we're doing today.
Hello, how is it going?
Good.
Good?
Potatoes are a little slow to cook, but coming along.
All right, so maybe you can bring your fire a little up
Yeah.
and keep a closer eye because obviously you will cook them faster, so they might burn. Don't forget to stir it a little bit like I am doing right now. And since, you know, it takes a little longer, think that we are prepping it a la minute right now. So if we were not speaking and we were just cooking, it will take you not more than 30 minutes. Since we are also watching our videos and we are chatting and I'm explaining the techniques, so it's taking a bit longer. However, we have to have our potatoes properly cooked because we don't want those potatoes to be hard in our omelette. So now, while we leave our potatoes and onions frying, we are going to break our eggs into a big bowl. Has to be a big bowl because we are gonna add the potatoes and the onion together with the eggs. So a bowl big enough to have our eggs and potatoes all together. So while I leave my potatoes and onions frying, I'm going to break, well, in fact, I already did it, to break my eggs into a big bowl. As you can see, is a big size bowl. My eggs are already in it. Then I will finish cooking the potatoes and the onions. I will prepare the onions and the potatoes out of the boiling oil, and then we're gonna mix it. So you can do that while we are watching another video, but yes, I will go for 1.5 eggs per person. So in my case, 3 family members, 5 eggs. It's a little extra, but it's good because we want the eggs to be like enough to get all the potatoes and onions together. The egg is the glue for the Spanish omelette. Yeah, if you judge by what you are saying, once you have your eggs and your onions and potatoes together, if you see that it's dry, add 1 more egg or 2 more eggs, right? So don't be afraid. It's gonna taste nice and good, and you're gonna love it. That's something I know. Okay. So potatoes and onions being cooked. Please keep an eye on the hot oil if kids are around. And then while we are keeping cooking our onions and potatoes, and since we already have our eggs mixed, we are gonna watch another video like this. We allowed you a little more time of getting that Spanish omelette nice and ready.
So the reason why this is here is because back in the day, this used to be the Puerta de los Judíos, okay? This used to be the gate of the Jewish quarter, okay? Everything going that way is Jewish quarter. Everything going this way is non-Jewish quarter, okay? Our boundaries are Carrera de Paranadal, that goes down here, to Carrera de Sol, that goes over here. As you can see, it's quite amplio. It's very, very large. And what I would like to show you guys, now we move into the bit of the mysticism part of the tour, because I have no explanation for this. But when I told my friends, the best part, when I told my friends that I was starting to do tours of the Jewish quarter, my European friend said, you have seen what the Jewish quarter looks like from above, right? If you were a bird flying over. And I said, no. And they said, go to Google Maps. So right there, that building right there, you can see how there's 2 roads that diverge right there. That top part is what I'm about to show you on Google Maps is this top part right here. Does anyone see any symbol or any sign or anything like that in the boat? Right?
Probably was another one in here.
You could see the top part of the Star of David. We do not think that it used to be complete, but every archaeologist or every person that I've shown this to says it is just a coincidence that the Jewish quarter happens to be similar shaping as the top part of a Jewish star. So we're going to now walk through some of these streets of the Jewish quarter over here. Also, guys, have you seen the Magen David, the Star of David, that's in the cathedral? Again, another thing that I have yet to find actual explanation for. Some people say that the Chuetas paid a lot of money for the cathedral to be built, so that was their way of honoring the roots of where they came from. Others said that they wanted to show that Judaism was triumphed. All of that, I have to say, from my own personal perspective, is a bit fishy, because the Star of David is not really the symbol of Judaism at that time. It's more the menorah, the candelabra that we've seen in a bunch of places. The Star of David is very shared by many different religions at that time, and really only becomes so Jewish in its essence when the Holocaust was happening and they made the Jews wear Jewish stars, and also in the 1800s when Zionism came up as a movement, saying, you know, we need to have our own state, we should have a flag, and on that flag is the Star of David. So that is, there's a lot of theory going along that. So guys, if you follow me, we're gonna take just a short walk past a bakery that's right over here, and that's our next stop.
Hello, we are in.
Uh,
How is the cooking going? Any questions?
No, well, somebody asked, what about salt? And I told them, you haven't mentioned salt yet.
No, not yet. As well, I add the salt when I mix the potatoes and the onions together with the eggs, just because if you keep on adding every time we are frying or cooking something, you might end having a very salty omelette. So what I do is when I add my cooked or fried potatoes and onions together with the eggs, then is when I add the salt. I have a better control of how it's gonna taste. So, well, your onions should be like now getting golden color. Maybe when you stir them, they break. That's a very good sign. How is it going? Tell me. Is it happening what I'm saying or not yet?
Yes, it's happening.
All right, so then we are getting closer to the end of our cooking class, because we are about to mix our potatoes and onions together with our eggs. So just allow 2 more minutes of your potatoes and onions to be cooked. You can try it by using a spoon and taking one of the potatoes, letting it cool down, and then try it. And if it's nice and soft, then we are almost ready. Just try it and let me know if it's, because once we take the potatoes and the onions away and we mix it away from the boiling oil and we mix it with the eggs, then they're not going to be more cooked. I don't know if I explain myself. All right. So in my case, I am ready. Can they see the closer camera? Okay, I'm going to show you what I mean by breaking. Okay, those are my potatoes. And whoop, give me a second, be careful, it's hot. So my knife goes nice and easy. They break easily without almost putting any pressure on it. They just break. So they are nice and soft already. So now, in my case, I'm gonna stop cooking them. I'm gonna take them out of the oil. So, very important, and please pay attention. I'm gonna drain them in a bowl. Danny, can you move that camera a little way like this? They can see it. Bowl has to be nice and dry, no water in it, otherwise it will splash. The same, the coriander, yes, nice and dry. So you take your potatoes and onions, and nice and slowly, Danny, if you can come and do it, just because, come on the other side. Just help yourself with, yeah. Just put the everything together.
Oh, everything goes
yeah, yeah. Yeah, perfect. Just leave that here on the, just leave it here.
Yeah.
Yep, and then we will cover this that we'll need. Here we are. So we already have our potatoes and onions drained. As I said, my potatoes are nice and soft.
Carla,
Yes,
so you're using the colander to drain the oil from the potatoes into that dry pot, that dry.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Can you see? Here is my oil,
Ah,
hot oil. Be careful, please.
and we're going to use
And then you can put it, yes, we can put it aside, let it cool down, and then you can reuse it later on to cook again, maybe potatoes or another omelette, or I don't know, whatever. You can reuse it again. It's and in my case, since it's sunflower oil, it won't take any flavor out of the onion and the potato, so it keeps neutral, so you can use it again to cook any other of your dishes. And now here we go. We add our potatoes into the eggs. We mix our eggs and potatoes together, and it gets that mushy mix. And now is when we add our salt. In my case, I'm gonna take a teaspoon as a measure. So a fairly large teaspoon. So I'm gonna do half of it, a little more maybe. And then we mix it with our potatoes and eggs. And while we are doing that, in case you are reusing the pan where you fried your potatoes and onions, then leave that pan heating up, because we want that pan warm or hot. In my case, since I'm using a new one or a different one, I am getting it hot. So needs to be hot. When we will add our mix into the pan, then we will bring the fire down and we will allow the eggs and the onions and the eggs to, I don't know, get together, like to stick together, yeah? So in order to know if my pan where I am going to cook my Spanish omelette is ready, I'm gonna do exactly the same what I did with my onion before. I'm just gonna take a little drop of egg and let it fall. And here we are, it's nice and ready. Just add out of the oil that you drain, add half spoon of the oil. Yeah, splashy, splashy. Nice and ready. And now we are gonna add our mix. Are you following me?
Yes.
All right.
Me.
Okay. Now you should see, or you should feel that it's cooking, like some bubbles on the side of our pan. Come closer, Danny. As you can see here, our egg is getting cooked. And then in the middle also it's bubbling. So you have to allow that to cook. Just keep in mind, now that we already have our mix in it, just bring the fire a bit lower. Maybe once again, if 1 is the softer, and 10 is the highest, the strongest, bring it to 5, 6 level. So I'm doing that. 9 is my top, my hottest. I'm gonna bring it into 5. And I'm gonna allow the egg to cook and get my ingredients all mixed together. You see the bubbling thing? Now, we need a plate bigger than our frying pan, because we are going to use it to cover it and to flip it. And this is a job for a strong adult. Kids only can cheer up and clap hands and cross fingers that it's going to work, and it's going to work. But since it's a tricky thing to do, we prefer the adults to take the risk. And since Danny joined me 5 years ago, and I teach him how to cook a Spanish omelette, he became the flip master of the Spanish omelette. So he's gonna be the one flipping it. I'm just retiring out of that task. In order to know if we are ready to do the first flip, we are going to just come closer with one of the cameras. You see here in the middle is plop, 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 like popping, like, and then I go here and it's still running in the middle, but the base is already like nice and stick together. And then I go on the sides with my spoon, or how do you call that? Spatula. And then I go around, and as you can see, it's not sticking. It's already like cooked. It's like all together. So we are gonna give a try. Keep your fire in like middle power. Go with your spatula around to help the sorry, the omelette to don't stick on it. And I think we are almost ready here. So Danny, how do you feel? Ready?
I feel good.
You feel good? That's good. So put a larger plate on top of your frying pan. With your stronger hand, you hold the plate, the bottom of the plate, yeah? And with your, in my case, your left-hand side, my left-hand side, you lift the pan and you flip. Go ahead, nice and slowly, and be confident, yeah? Go ahead. So that's the first.
Beautiful.
Yep. And so give me a second. Just 1 drop or 2 drops of oil, not much, just to make sure we are not going to get our omelette stick. Just nothing, like half the teaspoon out of the oil we drain. And now, Danny, you let it slide in. And with your spatula, you help yourself and make sure that all your mix goes back in. How is it? Did you try already? Have you done the first flip?
Melissa says this looks so yummy.
And wait and taste it. Well, I hope, Melissa, you would be here to taste it. However, you will have to do it at home and then share with us how it was the final result. So as you can see, very nice and goldish. All the eggs work their magic and put potatoes and onions all together, stick together. Now, same plate that we used for the first flip, we are going to use it for the second one. At least 3 flips on our process. The first one, the second one, and the third one, which will be the last one. So you can see both faces of both sides of your omelette. So my omelette is nice and smooth. When I shake, it moves. It's a good sign. It's not stick. My egg is bubbling, you know. So Danny, are you ready for the second flip? Go, master. You want me to take it closer? All right, it's perfect. Go ahead. So remember, slow down. With your stronger hand, you will take the plate and you will cover it, and then go ahead. Whoopa. Show, please. That's the second phase. I mean, the second side or the other side. Then let it slide. Nice and use your, if you struggle like now, just leave, yeah. All right. Don't forget that flipping part, you need to be confident, yeah? Make sure that your plate covers your frying pan, has to, and then you have to do a quick move, flip, you know? Don't hesitate, and you have to be strong. Obviously, if you are a big family and you have a big pan, be careful with that. Yes, you can also use the, in case it's a big pan, the cover of the pan, because maybe you don't have a plate that big, so you will use the cover of the pan, and then you will flip it, and then in that case you will be you need to be careful, because obviously the cover has some edges, so you will need to help yourself with the spatula and put it back again to the pan. However, the plate always works. And here we are, Danny. That's our last step, our last flip. Just let me clean the plate where we are going to serve our Spanish omelette, which can be the same plate that you use or a new one, fresh one. In my case, I'm gonna, well, let's use a fresh one. Will look nicer. So Danny. Go ahead. And because I like better the other side. Here we are. Ta-ta! And since this is nice and cooked, I prefer the color of the other side. Is just my personal option. That's the way it should look, nice and toasted. You smell the egg, you smell the onion, you smell, well, it's a mix of beautiful smell, yummy smell. But since I prefer the other side because it's a little less cooked, I'm just gonna flip it in order, it's for the presentation. So Danny, once again, we will just use the pan to help us.
Yum.
Yep.
Delicious.
Yeah, did you try already?
Oh, yeah. Yum.
Yeah, good, well done. Okay, here we are.
It's like a serve as a frisbee too.
It's your first Spanish omelette?
Hopefully.
Sorry, I didn't hear it. This is, I believe it's the first time you cook Spanish omelette, right?
Well, no, but
No?
I've never had such wonderful, been part of a group and gotten instruction. It's cool.
All right.
And
All right. So
If you can,
Sorry,
everyone
Stacey.
hold up your omelet. Let's see if we can see it, if you're willing. Oh, some are eating it, so it might be half gone. Whoa, wow, Miles. Wow, nice penny. Oop, everyone's moving across the screen here. Wow, these look so, oh, Lila. Man, if anybody wants to share, I was in Texas and couldn't get the ingredients, but it looks delicious.
yeah, we would love to take a picture of all your Spanish omelettes. So can you hold it looking at the camera? If you already try it and it's already started, doesn't matter, just show it to the camera. Everyone that cooked with us, hold on. Keep it up there.
Keep it up there. Everyone else, who else has an omelet? Hold on, we're gonna take a picture and 3,
2, 1, picture.
Smile.
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 Looks good, Lila.
Okay.
Hold on, hold on, hold on.
And now we're gonna get Carla's in here. All right. There we go. We got 6 beautiful omelets and 3,
2,
2,
1,
cheese.
picture.
Say smile.
Good. All right, so now it's time for you to open a nice bottle of wine in case you drink wine. If not, it will go very good, fresh and crispy beer or simply water.
Kids.
And for the kids, obviously, it can be a nice lemon juice, like lemonade, homemade, if possible, or water, for example. And then you can serve it together with a green salad or with red peppers, like that crunchy and sweet taste of the pepper goes very well with the Spanish omelette. And in Catalonia, we do something called pan con tomate, which is bread You put some fresh tomato, and then you put some olive oil and a little bit of salt, and then you kind of do like a sandwich with it. So this is it. Any question? Any comment?
Thank you. It really was fun.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So much.
Thank you. I
Thank
don't,
you.
I know that we only have about 10 minutes. I'm gonna open the breakout room so you can just share how your omelet experience went for just like 10 minutes with your group. And then I'll close them in 10. Let me just. I know I did that fast, but I want to give them a chance to just have a conversation. TJ, I didn't put you in a room. Let me give me a second and I'll move you in. I'm gonna put you into room 1. There you go. You did a phenomenal job, the two of you. That was
Thank
wonderful.
you. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much. It's always fun to share our nice and simple cuisine, with the other side of the world. And, Spanish omelette always, and I understand why, it's always like a star when you have it at home. I don't know, it's tasty, it's easy, it's kind of affordable because the ingredients are nice and simple, and it doesn't take that long, really. If you think about it, once you have everything peeled and chopped, it's all about cooking and mixing, and that's it. You let the magic show, So thank you so much for having us. And
I was saying I didn't get to cook it because I was in Texas and I came back from Texas at, by the time I got back to my house, it was like 1 in the morning, 1:30, and then I went directly to, work, like, and taught. And I was like, oh, I don't have any of the ingredients, but Mo cooked.
It's still cooking. It's still raw on the inside.
Oh, all right. So, well, if that's the case, you can put it in the oven and just heat it up a little bit. It will cook nice and slow. You don't have, or put it back to the frying pan.
I put the lid on it. Yeah.
Yeah, that works. That works perfectly. So you will enjoy it. And as I said, you can obviously keep it in your fridge, and the day after, if you don't want to finish it, you just or heat it up a little bit, or just let it warm up room temperature, and just have it with a little bit of bread. And very easy to cook for Shabbat. It reminds me a little bit to our latkes for Hanukkah.